Okay, guys. Good morning, guys. Good morning, everyone. So, did everyone receive yesterday's recorded session? Before I start today's one, so did everyone receive yesterday's session? No? Yes or no? So, yesterday's session I have uploaded as a private video and shared it to you. Okay, those who already shared your Gmail ID. So, I had shared as a private session. So, please share your Gmail ID, those who did not receive and those who want yesterday's session. So, please share me your Gmail ID. So, and it is also added to your playlist URL. To your batch playlist URL. Let me quickly show that before I start today's session. Okay. So this one. This is the latest one, guys. PT April 2024, JMeter LoadRunner Splunk Dynatrace batch, Amirpet offline and online batch, right? So there are 3 videos added to this playlist URL, right? So today's video I had uploaded as a private video and I have given access to you, most of you. Okay. If I missed anyone, please let me know. If I missed anyone who confirmed their joining and paid fees, please let me know. Okay. And also, like, we have a separate WhatsApp group for every batch, guys. So please make sure that you are added to the WhatsApp group, because all the communication and collaboration is being done in that WhatsApp group. So whenever I'm getting, suppose in case today I got delayed because of the previous session got extended, so I informed in the WhatsApp group. So please check, if online participants also, if on any particular day if the session get delayed, please check the WhatsApp group once. Okay. All right. So let me start today's session. So we'll discuss SDLC today as we discussed yesterday. I'll start with SDLC and testing lifecycle. If time permits, I'll cover as testing lifecycle as well. So before that, let me quickly check if there are any leftover concepts in the fundamentals, computer fundamentals, right? Important ones. A few of them I will cover later. So I think I covered yesterday till this Windows shortcuts, right? Host file, I will explain it later. Port number also, I'll explain that later once we start the demo application. Once we start working on the demo application, I'll explain that port numbers. And PowerShell and additional clocks also not so important at this moment. But make sure that you are working on this Excel basics and Word basics. I had already given one assignment to you in the Google Classroom, right? And also please make sure that you are added to the Google Classroom. If I missed anyone by mistake, please let me know. Okay. So I have added, I had shared the Google Classroom invite to those who already paid fees and confirmed their joining. So if I missed anyone, please let me know. Okay. Right. And I still see some Devajyoti. So please accept the invite. So if you did not receive into inbox, please check your spam folder. And Priyanka and Vishu, do we have Vishu today? Vishu did not join. Okay. Right, all the confirmed participants got this Google Classroom invite, right? So and I started giving assignments, guys, in this Google Classroom. The first assignment is Excel and Word basics. Start learning Microsoft if you are not if you are not familiar with those tools before, right? Because like most of the guys are from non-computers background. So and if you are not familiar or if you are not comfortable with Excel and Word, please start learning those Excel and Word, and please complete by this weekend. Monday we will have an assessment. Okay. So then only you will get to know how much you learned, right? We will have periodic or regular assessments. All right. Now, so static IP and dynamic IP are already covered, isn't it? This I already covered here when we discussed about IP address. And FQDN, fully qualified name, VPN, WinSCP, PuTTY, all this will be covered later in the training, right? So as and when we come across the context, proper context, I will cover that. Now let me go to the next slide. Yes, and I also asked you to start using these Windows shortcuts. So please do that. Now let us start with SDLC, Software Development Lifecycle. So typically any software project, any development project consists of these different phases. So it starts with requirement analysis from left to right. It starts with analysis, means requirement analysis, right? In this phase, who are all the stakeholders? Your product owner, okay, project manager, business analyst, and CTO, right? There will be a team, business analyst team. CTO means chief technical officer, project manager, product owner. Now let us understand each of these terms one by one. Okay, what is meant by a product owner? I'll give some example for this. Suppose your parents or your father want to construct a house, right? So he want to construct a new house. So once the product is ready, once the house is ready, he will be the owner of that, right? So he is the product owner in this case, isn't it? Now he cannot construct on his own, or I cannot construct on my own, right? I will hire someone, or I will delegate it to someone else. So that person will be, what is his responsibility? Suppose, we engage a contractor here, right? Or a builder. What is his responsibility? So his responsibility is to make sure that, all the materials are procured, all the work will be done promptly and regularly, right? So it's something like a Scrum Master in software. In software, we call them as Scrum Masters. What is their responsibility? They have to coordinate and collaborate and make sure that the project, or the work is happening as per the schedule, right? So there are two terms here, product owner and Scrum Master. Okay, so let me bring up your class notes. So in the same way, suppose you want to, I'll take another example. I'll take one more example as well. Let's say, like I will, yeah, one second. I'll give one more example, guys. So we are discussing about product owner and Scrum Master. You might have heard these terms, right? Right. So what is product owner? So owner of that product, the end product, isn't it? Suppose, I'll take another example. So we are developing a website for our institute, and this is in progress. It is in construction. Okay. So this is one, I'm planning actually two websites. So we started working on two websites. This is one of the website that we are developing, right? So once that, and so I am not good in website development, so I have given it to someone else, right? And I delegated this to my brother. Let's say, like my brother is also Java developer, and he's an he's a MTech graduate from IIT Kanpur. Okay, and he is working for Microsoft now, right? He's in US now. So he's interested to develop that website. So he came forward that I will do that website. I will develop that website. Touch with all of those. So I want to again, brush up those. He said like, I will work on this website. So I gave that website to my brother, right? So he's, what is his responsibility? So he alone cannot accomplish it, may not be accomplishing it, isn't it? Your contractor cannot construct the complete thing on himself, by himself, isn't it? So he will engage some workers, isn't it? Some workers, and then he will get the task done. So here, like my brother cannot do that, that front end and back end and all this. So we engage in some developers from front end, front end developer, one back end developer, let's say. So, but my brother's responsibility is here to coordinate and collaborate with them and get the task done. So he's the Scrum Master here. And once the website is ready, I would be the owner of that website. So I would be here called as product owner. In your house construction example, once the house is constructed, so your father will be the product owner, right? Who spent that money and, who did all that. And then the contractor will be the Scrum Master here. The contractor who took that, contract will be the Scrum Master. Is everyone clear on this, both of these terms, product owner and Scrum Master? Right? So product owner means owner of the end product. So Scrum Master ante Maestri, man Telugulo Maestri antam, right? So he is the Scrum Master. Okay, his responsibility is to make sure that, the work will be done as per schedule and make sure that everything is progressing. Clear this? Now, let me go back to the slide. So in the analysis phase, in the first phase, so this product owner and project manager. So project manager responsibility is to run the show, to run the project, right? So, and business analyst and CTO, all these will get involved in the analysis phase. What is that analysis phase? They will first collect the requirements. They need to first collect the requirements, or we will discuss the requirements. Let's say we are having, like one meeting every week and we are discussing the requirements. So I gave the requirements something like this. Let me show you. So I gave the requirements like this. Let me quickly show you that. So what are the requirements that I have provided to them? Let me take a pause here. 1 second, please. See that these are the requirements that we gathered till now. Okay. So let's say, we have, these are the main pages that I want. Let's say in that main page, you will have an overview about us, course offerings, testimonials or success stories, right? Social media presence, etc., etc. These are my requirement. I want this website, our website, to have all these pages. And what are the other pages? Course registration, information decimation. So these are added by, of course, these are added by my brother. He suggested, we will add these also along with this. I gave this initially, I gave this. Then he told that, it would be good if we add all this, these also, in addition to that, the main requirements. Okay. And then these are the strategies. Okay. And yeah. So this is the, so we are working, we are every week we are connecting on the weekend on Saturday, and we are discussing, and we are at this stage now. Okay. So it was hosted on Firebase, and he developed some sample pages. That's it. Okay. We started only last week, right? Now, so once this is ready, I will be the product owner, and he's the project manager here, project manager or scrum master here. So we'll discuss. So in the analysis phase, the requirements will be analyzed, what is doable and what is not doable, right? And how much, how many resources are required to get this task done. So all the requirements will be analyzed, and we will design the application. What is this designing? What does that mean? So which technology you have to use? What tools we need to use? Let's say, for example, you see here, he suggested that, my brother suggested that we need this. We are going to use these tools, and these are the SEO strategies that we want to implement, etc., etc. We will use these marketing pop-ups and email campaigns, etc. Right? So this is designing phase. All right. And then he started developing that project or that website. See, project can be website or a mobile app, right? It can be a mobile app, or it can be a website, web application, right? It can be anything, or a desktop application, anything. So they started developing, and like we engaged, one front-end developer and one back-end developer. Clear this? One front-end developer and one back-end developer is engaged for this. See, it can be one or more than one. It depends on the volume of the work, isn't it? Depends on the volume of the work. And now once the website is ready, right? So to some extent, right? So testing also should be started in parallel. Ideally, testing should be started in parallel. Okay, along with the development. As soon as the project is started, as soon as the web application development is started, testing also should be started. So previously they used to test it like, long back, many years back, long back, when before agile methodology came into picture, right? What is that agile methodology? So we have different, methodologies for developing a software. 1 second. Okay. So previously we used to follow something called waterfall model. And right now, most of the projects are following agile methodology. Okay. So now, we'll discuss that later. What is the difference between waterfall and agile? We'll discuss that later. But note down that there are two popular, models, and most of the projects are nowadays using agile methodology. What is the difference? Why not waterfall, and why agile methodology? We will discuss that later. Right. So testing also should be started in parallel along with the development. Okay. Testing also should be started along with the development. Right. Now, so in testing phase, who all will be involved? The solution architect, and it means QA architect, and then QA engineers, testers, some junior testers, and DevOps team will be involved in this testing phase. Right. And then once the testing is completed, like the application or the product will be deployed. Product will be deployed into production. So there we need database administrator and again DevOps kit. And then once it is deployment means your application will go live. We will take it to production or go live, right? And once it is deployed, is it enough? Can we ignore it? We need to maintain the application, because when you are testing in the testing phase, all the defects may not be identified during testing phase. Some defects may leak into production. some defects may leak into production, isn't it? Even though we did thorough testing, we did all types of testing, so still some defects may found once the application goes into production. Clear, guys? So we need to do that bug fixing and all those. For that, we need to have a support team. We need to have users, testers, and support managers, right? So these are the different phases. These are the 6 different phases of any software development lifecycle. Clear, guys? And these are the corresponding stakeholders or part of the team, right? Below you see that, there are different stakeholders in each phase, isn't it? So this is software development lifecycle at a very high level, right? So any queries, guys? Before I move to the next slide, any queries? What is it? QA engineers, testers, yeah, same. And now let us understand what is this waterfall and agile methodology. Okay, I'll give you some example for this. And so why do we need to start, testing along with development? So previously, initially, when software development started, everyone used to follow waterfall model. Okay, there are not so complex projects at that time, long back, like maybe before you are born, right? So they used to follow waterfall model. What is waterfall model? In waterfall model, the important characteristic of a waterfall model is testing will be started after the product is developed. After the application development was done, testing used to be done after the complete development was done in waterfall model. That is called as waterfall model, right? But there is a biggest drawback for that approach. Okay, let me show you one waterfall model process diagram. So this is the waterfall model process diagram. Okay. 1 second, please. One second, please. Waterfall model, each phase will be started after the previous phase is completed. There are different phases, right? In waterfall model, each phase will be started after previous phase is done. So testing will be started, after the development, after the product or the application is constructed or developed, right? Testing used to start after the complete product is ready in waterfall model. Initially when software, development started. Clear, guys? But there is a biggest drawback here. If you found some defects in this testing phase, when you are testing the application, the cost of fixing the defect will be very high, right? It will be very high, too drastic. It will be very much high, isn't it? Suppose, some defects are found in the application. Already the application development is done. And it will be very high. The cost of fixing the defect will be very high in waterfall model, isn't it? That is the biggest drawback in waterfall model. Now let us go back. Let us correlate this with our house construction example. Your father started constructing a house. So, foundation is done, slab is done. Now suppose you get some Vastu Pandit, right? Walls are also constructed. And you got, so somehow like you thought of, consulting a Vastu guy, Vastu Pandit, and you call him, right? So what will you do, guys? He may suggest some changes, right? So he will suggest a lot of changes because, like, how much they charge nowadays. You know that? Do you know that? Do you know that? Okay. Yes. If you have a famous guy like Vastu Pandit, like he will charge 10,000 per visit. In Hyderabad, for example, if you get from a local guy who is in Hyderabad, so, for just 2 to 3 hours, he will charge 10,000 per visit. That is per visit. Okay. Now, if he comes, what does he do? He says that he will suggest some changes, right? So he will say that, this door should not be there here, or this window should be closed. There should not be window here. Definitely, or the staircase should not be here, isn't it? Then there will be rework, right? You need to demolish it, part of that, right? Partially, and you need to reconstruct again, isn't it? So, but if you call him or if you engage him from the beginning, if you had consulted him in the beginning, before the construction is started, before the foundation is laid, then you will not run into those issues, right? You will not come into those issues, isn't it? the cost of fixing the issues or the cost of making the corrections will be very less, isn't it? First, you will get an engineer plan. Ideally, you will get some engineer plan. And if any modifications required, before you start the construction, that is the feasible time, that is the ideal time, isn't it? So that is why, so that is what I mean to say, like cost of fixing the defect will be very high in bulk. The product is already developed and, there are some defects identified in the testing phase and the cost of fixing them will be very high, abnormally high, isn't it? But if you start testing as soon as the development is started, as and when some product is released, it can be tested, right? In agile methodology, what we do is, let me search for agile methodology process diagram. Agile methodology process. Search for some images, right? And you take any image. Let's say, for example, you take any of these images, right? So now if you start the testing as soon as the development is started, right? Once some product is ready, once some part of the code is ready, if you test it immediately, the cost of fixing the defects will be very less, isn't it? There will not be no rework. There will not be any rework, much rework. There will not be much rework, isn't it? So that is the main difference between this waterfall model and agile methodology. Clear, guys? So we'll discuss more in detail later on about this waterfall model and agile model later on. So now let's go back to the SDLC. Now, any queries, guys? So now we are not interested in this analysis phase, designing phase or development phase or deployment or maintenance, but we are interested in testing phase, right? So we are here to learn performance testing. So let us focus on this testing phase. Let's focus on testing phase. Before that, I would like to show my favorite quote about testing. So you can read it out. I'll take a pause here.
I think I saw this in one mock interview.
In one mock interview. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now let us discuss about testing phase. So, right. See, there are developers to develop the application. We are not good in coding. At least I am not good in coding. Maybe some of you are good in coding. So I'm not interested in development. So I'm not interested in, all this. So, but I'm interested in this testing. So that is my cup of tea. So development is not my cup of tea. So that's why I'm into performance testing area. All right. Now let us discuss, more in detail about testing phase. So these are the different phases in testing. In testing life cycle, these are the different phases in testing life cycle. Okay. So let me go to slideshow mode. So in testing phase also, we have different phases. The first one is unit testing. So unit testing is something done by developers. Okay. Suppose a team of developers are working on some Java application, or else, I'll take one example here. Let us take Gmail example. Okay. Let's take Gmail example. And let's say, a team of developers are working on this Gmail. Now Gmail has, different products combined, right? So it has mail and then there are a lot of apps integrated with it, isn't it? There are a lot of apps, this Gmail suite is having a lot of apps, YouTube, Google Maps, Gmail, Google Meet, Chat, Google Drive. There are a lot of apps integrated into it, isn't it? Now will everyone, can one team develop all these? Gmail and YouTube and all this, Google Sheets, Google Docs. There are a lot of things, they are adding almost on a regularly, we are getting some or other app added to this, isn't it? Google Earth, right? There are a lot of teams involved in this, isn't it? Now, when developers are, writing, so let's assume that one team of developers are working on this Gmail alone. Now, again, in Gmail also, we have different things, right? We have, I think Google Meet is also integrated into this, isn't it? So again, you have a front-end development team and a back-end development team. You'll have a team which develops this front-end that we are seeing, right? And the backend means some Java code or .NET code, right? In the backend, right? And now, as and when, so assume that this is a Java application, and in Java, each one is a class, or each program is called as a Java class, right? And there will be hundreds or thousands of Java classes in any web application. There will be hundreds or thousands of Java classes. Suppose developers wrote some Java class, one Java class, and he will test it immediately as soon as one piece of code is developed, right? It will be tested by the developer. Developer himself will test it immediately. right? And that is called as unit testing. So what is unit testing? Unit testing is also called as white box testing. We will understand why it is called as white box testing. We'll discuss that. But unit testing is the type of testing which is done during the development phase of an application by the developers. Developers then assume that one Java developer is wrote some Java code, one Java class. He will test that Java class immediately, whether it is working fine or not, right? In pieces. See, there will be a team of developers. Each developer may be writing some 50 to 100 Java classes. But as and when one Java class is developed, right, they will test that piece of code. And that is called as unit testing. That small, see, what is the meaning of a unit, guys? What is the meaning of a unit? Unit means a small part of something, right? Unit means an individual thing or person, or something that is part of a bigger thing. A component of something is called as a unit, isn't it? A small component of some some product or is called as a unit, isn't it? So if developers, as soon as the developers write some Java code, they will test that piece of code, and that is called as unit testing. So unit testing is done by developers. That is what I mean to say here. In bracket, I mentioned as developers, right? That means this is done by developers. Okay. So unit test isolate a section of code and verify its correctness. Unit test isolate a section of code and verify its correctness, whether it is working fine or not. And a unit may be an individual function, method, class, procedure, module, or object. So a unit may be an individual function. Now, what is meant by a function? What is meant by a function, guys? So in any programming language, function means a small piece of code that does some specific task. A small piece of code that does some specific task is called as a function. You will come across these functions, throughout the training. That is why I'm giving the definition. I'm trying to explain you what is a function. Suppose if developer wrote suppose, those who are from computers background, you might have written some small programs in your academics, right? Some addition function. Let's say there is an addition function to add some two integers. Those who are from computers background, definitely you might have written some smaller programs, like you might have started with some smaller programs like this. Yes or no? Right? So suppose you want to, what is this function? What is the purpose of this function? What is the task for this function? We need to add two numbers. So for that, we pass those two numbers here, right? So, and we write some code here, right? Inside that function, the code will be something like this. Okay, x is equal to r, k is equal to into k is equal to I plus j, right? So something like this, return j. Return, isn't it? So it should be smaller. It should be small letter this. This also should be small letter. Okay. Now what does this function does? If you pass the value of I and j to that function, addition function, it will return the value of sum of those two values, isn't it? It will return the sum of those two values if you pass two values to that function. So here sum is the function, isn't it? Sum is the function, right? And what are these I and j called as? Right? I, j are called as
Parameters.
to that function, are called as parameters to that function. To the function. Or arguments. They are also called as arguments, right? Yes or no? Clear this? We'll keep it as a comment. Okay. So comment is denoted by double slash in any programming language, most of the programming languages, or a hash, right? So sum is the function here, and I and j are called as parameters or argument to the function. And sorry, it should be k, return k, sorry, guys. So return k. So k is the return value, isn't it? So that is what a function is here, or it is also called as a method, right? And this function will be used in some Java class, let's say, Java class, etc. right? But you'll come across this function, we'll come across different JMeter functions throughout the training. So that is why, I want to elaborate that function. Clear, guys? And we'll discuss about module and okay. Let me explain this module or object also. Module I'll explain. Object we'll discuss that later. So module means any software application will contain different modules. Let's say if you take the same Gmail example, right? So this see, you see here primary, there are different tabs here, right? Primary, promotions, and social. Maybe this can be called as a module, and this can be called as a module. Promotions can be called as module, or social can be called as a module. Or else if you take Amazon application, let us take Amazon application. I think that is the best example. Suppose if you observe here, right? Each one of you are using Amazon, right? So Amazon has different, this Amazon application is having different modules are observed here. Of course, here this is called as a microservice, right? But I'm just trying to explain what is a module. Module means part of something is called as a module. That's it. For example, suppose Amazon Pay is a separate module. It can be developed as a separate module or as a microservice. We'll discuss what is difference between module and microservice later on. Nowadays, these are called as microservices. Okay, these are developed as microservices. I'll do one thing. I'll take some old application. Let's say APS-RTC. We'll take APS-RTC application. Okay. Now you see here, there are different, see, these will be developed as different modules. Ticket status is one module, cancel ticket is one module, track service is one module, gallery is one module, etc., etc. Module means part of, again, it is a part of something, the overall application, the bigger application, right? Now, so a unit can be a individual function, method, class, procedure, module, or object. Once a function is written, see, when you wrote that piece of code, that function to add some two numbers, you might have tested it, right? You pass two values and see whether it is returning the sum of those two numbers or not, isn't it? So that means you are testing that small piece of code, and then you call it from another Java class or something, Java class or C program or something else, isn't it? So this is called as unit testing, which is done by developers. And now unit testing is also called as white box testing. So why is it called as white box testing? Is this unit testing, who is doing this unit testing here, guys? Developers are doing that, and they know each and every internal of that code of that application. They know each and every detail of that application, isn't it? So it is a white box for them. They know, it is a white box for them. So once we discuss about black box, then you will understand what is the difference between white box and black box testing, or you will understand why they are called so. So here developers know each and every detail of that, right? So that is why it is called as a white box testing. Now, once we discuss functional testing, then you'll understand, you'll get a clear picture what is the difference between white box and black box testing. Now, let me go to the slideshow mode. And now, once these different pieces are combined together, so there will be a team of developers, and each developer will develop some Java classes. Now, all these Java classes should be combined together. Okay. We'll take another example here. The next type of testing is integration testing. So to understand integration testing, I'll take another example. Okay. Suppose let us consider a car example. Okay. A car will have thousands of components. Any car will have thousands of components. Yes or no? You'll have, someone will be manufacturing headlights, someone will be manufacturing wheels, someone will be manufacturing tires, right? Someone will be manufacturing your, engine. Again, that engine also, there will be again hundreds of components in an engine. Each component may be manufactured by different organizations, different manufacturers, isn't it? Now, suppose, there is a headlight manufacturer. So he builds that headlight and he will test it, and then he'll sell it to the factory, or he'll sell it to the car assembler, isn't it? Now, once all these thousands of components are combined together and assembled as a car, again they will test it, right? They will not ignore, because all these components are tested already. They don't ignore testing again, isn't it? Yes or no? They'll test each and everything. They'll make sure that horn is working fine, signal lights are working fine or not, indicator lights, everything they'll test it again, isn't it? Why? What is the, they're already tested. Each individual component is already tested. Then why should we test again once the assembling is done? Right. So there may be some issues in this integration. So we have to make sure that once all these different parts are combined together, whether they are working properly or not, isn't it? Whether they are working properly or not. So here also in the software also, even though you do unit testing, again, once all these modules are combined together, once all these pieces of code are combined together, we have to do something called integration testing. Okay. What is the general meaning of integration? Integration means combination. Integration means nothing but combination. Integration means combination, right? Once different components or modules, software modules are combined together, we need to test it again, and that testing is called as integration testing. And the environment in which this testing is done is called as SIT environment. The environment, what is meant by environment? Environment means nothing but a computer, single machine, or group of computers. That is called as environment. That's it. Okay. In software terminology, environment means nothing but a single machine or a group of computers or a group of machines. That is called as an environment. Means, see, all this code will be running on some machine, right? That is called as environment. That machine is called as environment. That's it. Okay. Now this, any queries? I see someone raised their hand. SIT is also called as FST. What is FST? Any idea, Sham? FST. Is SIT also called as FST? SIT, someone is asking if SIT is also called as FST, functional system testing. Yes. Okay. I'm really not sure about this, whether, functional system testing. In our previous organization, we used FST instead of SIT. Okay. Okay. I'll get back to you on this, Devajyoti. So I'm really not sure about that. Okay. Right. So integration testing is also, it is done in an environment called SIT environment, right? Where it is also called as system integration testing. System integration testing. Sounds similar, right? System integration and system functional testing. Sounds similar. Okay. Okay. So I'm not sure about the terminology. Okay. So I'll get back to you. I need to get back to you on that. Okay. Now, integration testing is defined as a type of testing where software modules are integrated logically and tested as a group. Clear? And any typical software project consists of multiple software modules, isn't it? We already discussed that, that APSRTC example. Right? There are different software modules which are coded by different programmers, isn't it? Or else, suppose if you take this Gmail example only, one team might have worked on this Gmail and completely different team would have worked on this YouTube. Another team would have worked on this Google Meet, etc., etc. Right? There will be a different team of developers who will be working on this. Now, all these are combined together. Suppose if I click on YouTube, so I should get this, it should go to YouTube landing page, isn't it? Right? Or else whatever component I select from here, suppose if I select Google Drive, it should go to that component or that particular application, isn't it? Right? So, but like they have to work seamlessly without any issues, isn't it? So for that, to make sure that they are working seamlessly or that there are no issues after integration. So we do this integration testing, right? So the purpose of this is to expose the defects in the interaction between these software modules once they are integrated, right? The purpose of this, what is the purpose of integration testing? It is to expose any defects in the interaction between the software modules once they are integrated, right? I'll take a pause here. Any queries before I move to the next concept or next type of testing? Okay, so I'll take your silence as no, and I'm going to the next one. I'm moving to the next concept. Now, Now the next type of testing is functional testing, and this is done in QA environment. Okay, where QA stands for quality analysis or quality assurance. QA stands for quality analysis or quality assurance. Okay, fine. Now all these software modules are combined together, right? All these software modules are combined together, right? And suppose, let's say your Gmail application is ready. Okay, let's say your Gmail application is ready, and suppose someone type gmail.com, right? Everyone will get this page initially, isn't it? Suppose, once you enter your in this page, you enter your Gmail ID, right? You can enter, perftest.kb. You can enter this, or you can enter your full email, or you can skip this one also. You can just give perftest.kb. You can skip that at gmail.com, because we are anyways on Gmail, isn't it? Now click next. Now it should ask for what happened now, guys. It will prompt for a password, right? Once you enter username, see, observe here, it automatically took that complete Gmail, right? Even though I entered only perfdesk.kb, isn't it? And then it is prompting for a password. So this is how it should work, right? This is how the software should function. Once you enter username, it should prompt for password. Now, if you enter correct password, it should allow you to log in. If you enter some wrong password, invalid password, it should display some error message. So let's say, I am entering some invalid, I am entering some junk character randomly. Okay. So it should display some error message, isn't it? Or if I enter correct password, it should allow me to log in, isn't it? Sorry, guys. Right? It should allow me to log in. Right? Now, I'm sorry. Please give me a moment, guys. Right? And it should take me to the inbox, isn't it? The inbox should be loaded. This is how it should function, isn't it? This is how the Gmail application should function or should work, right? So this is nothing but functional testing. You give some input and see what is the output. What is the output that we are getting from that application, isn't it? So my username is input, and it should ask for the password. That is the output, expected output from that. So this is what functional testing is, right? So what is meant by functional testing? What is meant by functional testing? The application is tested against the functional requirements or specifications, right? In functional testing, the application is tested against the functional requirements or specifications. What is meant by functional requirements? If you enter, suppose if you take Gmail example, if you enter username and hit enter, it should ask for password, right? If you enter a valid password, it should allow you to log in. If you don't enter a valid password, it should display some error message in red color, isn't it? That is the requirement. That is a requirement or specification. So, and doing this testing is called as functional testing. And now functions or features are tested by feeding them input and examining the output. These functions or features are tested by feeding them input and examining the output, what output you are getting from that, right? And functional testing ensures that the software requirements are properly satisfied by the application, right? And now the person who is doing this functional testing, do they need to know Java code? If the application is a Java application, do they need to know the Java code? Or do they need to know the application architecture? Do they need to know, front end, back end, and all those?
No.
Required, not really not required for doing functional testing. So everything is a black box for them. They don't know in which language the application, they need not know in which application in which language the application is developed, or what coding they have written, developers have written, isn't it? So it is a complete black box to them, right? So that is why this functional testing is black box testing. Whereas unit testing is done by developers. They know each and every internal of the code. That is why that is called as white box testing. Unit testing is called as white box testing, right? Because developers know each and every internal of that application, isn't it? Whereas, functional testing team need not know. If they are interested, they can know, but they need not know to do this testing, to do this functional testing, isn't it? So it is a black box for them. That's why this functional testing is called as black box testing. Very important question for interviews. What is the difference between what is white box testing and black box testing? Okay. let me write it down in your class notes. I'll write down all the interview questions in your class notes as and when we come across that concept. What is white box testing and black box testing, or what is the difference between white box and black box testing? Right? So, and I shared this class notes to everyone, guys, right? Those who confirm their joining, so I shared it already. So if I missed anyone, please, I will, Divya, I already gave access to this, this Gmail ID. Okay, I think this is also yours only. Maybe, like you sent a request from another email ID. Okay, but I already gave access to this Gmail ID, which you provided to me. Okay, right. So, those who confirmed your joining yesterday, 4 or 5 people confirmed their joining. So I'll share it to them today. Right. So what is the time now? 11:36. Okay. So do you I think we can have 10 more minutes, and let me try to finish this, at least this slide, testing life cycle. Okay. Yeah, let me go to the slide somewhat. Now the next type of testing is after functional testing. By the way, functional testing is done in QA environment. What is meant by QA environment? That means, so this code will be running in some on some computer, right? That computer is called as environment. That's it. Okay, one or more than one computer, that is called as environment, right? So this functional testing is done in an environment called QA environment. Means this the application is right now on one or two computers, right? Where functional testing is done. That environment is called as QA environment. QA stands for quality analysis or quality assurance, right? And the next type of testing is performance testing. Okay, fine. Functional testing is done. Functional testing is done, and the application is, working as per the requirements, functional requirements, right? Now, your Gmail is working as per the requirement. You are able to log in and you are able to see your inbox. But what if, when thousands and lakhs of users are accessing Gmail, right? There may be some issues, right? When thousands or lakhs of users are working any software application, any application, there may be some issues, isn't it? Yes or no? Yes. Right? So now performance testing is done in an environment called test environment or engineering environment. Means once the functional testing is completed, that code will be moved into performance testing environment or test environment. Okay. And now what is performance testing? It is a non-functional testing, right? Performance testing is a non-functional testing. And what is the objective of doing this performance testing is to determine the speed, responsiveness, and stability of a computer network software program or device under load, right? Performance testing is non-functional testing to determine speed. What is the meaning of speed? Suppose you are accessing any application, you are using Amazon app on your mobile. How much time it is taking to load that page, that app, right? Or else you are trying to place an order on Amazon on your mobile app. It need not be web application. It can be mobile app. We'll be doing performance testing for web applications, mobile applications, desktop applications, etc., etc. Right? So speed means how fast it is responding. As simple as that. Or how much is the response time of each page or each screen, right? And then responsiveness, how responsive it is. See, sometimes you observe that the page or the web application loads very slow, or you'll get some page can't be displayed, isn't it? Sometimes you get page can't be displayed, right? Even though all these types of testing are completed, all these unit testing, integration testing, functional testing are done, but still when you like let's say when you are trying to book a ticket in Tatkal, right? Many times you might have observed that sometimes, few times you might have observed that the transaction will fail, isn't it? So right now IRCTC is wonderful actually, but when we started our career, IRCTC is a very good application for performance testing, very good candidate for performance testing. There is no guarantee that we will be able to complete the booking, particularly during Tatkal time, isn't it? Or even if nowadays also we have a lot of applications which will not be loaded, which will be very slow, right? So when thousands of users are accessing the application, isn't it? See, functional testing is done when there will be limited number of users when we are doing functional testing, or we test as a one user. Each tester test it as a one user. But whereas when thousands of users are accessing the application, it may not give the same performance, right? It may not be, the pages may be slow, or you may not get the page also loaded completely, isn't it? Sometimes you get some scrambled pages, What is meant by scrambled pages? You will get a response from the server, but that will not be proper, right? The page will not be loaded properly. I have some screenshots. Let me show you those. Sometimes you will get some scrambled pages. The page will not be loaded. See, sometimes you will get some error message like this. See, observe here, let me show those, these are some performance issues that I encountered in the real-time applications when I was using karurvaisyabank.com, right? So this is on December 2023. Okay. So I got this error message and because of this issue, I incurred a loss of 2 lakhs. I got a loss of 2 lakhs because of this performance issue with KVP. Okay. If you got it. So I need to bid for something. I need to submit a bid for something, but application did not work on time. And I got a loss of 2 lakhs. Now, if some, of course, that is not my account actually. You can see here you can see the account holder name. I try to use their application or their account. Okay, with their permission only, guys, by the way, with their permission only, for them only. But this customer like lost, incurred a loss of 2 lakhs because of this performance issue, because they could not submit their bid on time. Okay, I can show you the proof, like the loss is 2 lakhs literally. And they closed up that bank account immediately because that application did not work on time, right? And they got a huge loss. Now, once that customer closes that bank account, he will never ever go to that bank. He will never ever open an account in that bank. Yes or no? So this is the importance of performance testing. I'll show you some more screenshots. Okay. This is my own Kotak Securities account. 1 second. I'll show you another issue. See here, this is my Kotak Securities account. Right? Again, this is another performance issue. On which day is this? Okay, it's not showing the date actually. Right? But again, so if you get these kind of performance issues, you have some urgent work. You need to do some fund transfer urgently, or you need to submit a bid urgently, where you are expecting some profit. If the application doesn't work like this, because of performance issues, right? So definitely you will not use that application anymore, right? Yes or no? This is another issue, right? These are some performance issues, right? So how responsive is the application, right? Now you understood what is speed and the responsiveness, right? And stability of it means the application is not stable. When there are thousands of users accessing the application is not stable, right? And there is another type of testing called security testing. Security testing is testing how secure the application is. If there are any vulnerable points, if the application can be hacked, whether hackers can hack the application, or there are any vulnerable points, that is called as security testing. So we have different types of testing. There are different types of testing careers as well, right? So, and one more thing, if you are doing this functional testing manually, without using any tool, that is called as manual testing. If you are doing functional testing with help of some tools like Selenium or UFT, that is called as automation testing, right? You should know the difference between manual and automation testing as well. Both fall under functional testing only. Manual testing and automation testing fall under functional testing only. If you are doing it manually without using any tools, that is called as manual testing. If you are doing functional testing with the help of some automation tools like Selenium, etc. Selenium is the most popular one, right? In the market, from many years. So if you are doing some automation, if you are using some automation tools for doing functional testing, that is called as automation testing. And both fall under functional testing umbrella. If you see the next slide, I separated here, this slide speaks about functional and non-functional testing. Okay, what all falls under functional testing and what all falls under non-functional testing. What all falls under functional testing? Your unit testing, integration testing, system testing, acceptance testing, all these fall under functional testing. Whereas under non-functional testing, what comes under non-functional testing? Our performance testing and security testing, usability testing, compatibility testing, these all fall under non-functional testing. right? And you can read the description here. Functional testing can be classified again into two types, manual and automation, which I explained just now. And non-functional testing is a type of software testing to check non-functional aspects of the application, like performance, security, usability, reliability of a software application, right? And these are the popular performance testing tools. LoadRunner, JMeter, and NeoLoad are the most popular performance testing tools nowadays currently. Okay, right? So we'll start this batch with JMeter. So once we complete all these fundamental concepts, basic concepts, in the next over the next 10 days, I will be starting JMeter in this current batch, in the current timings. Okay. And in another batch, we'll start JMeter in another batch. NeoLoad also, I am trying to engage some trainer, good trainer who can give both offline and online. Right. There are many people who can give online training, but I am looking for offline training, offline and someone who can give both online and offline. Got it? So we'll, but these are the popular performance testing tools in the market nowadays. I'll take a short pause here. Any queries? 1 second. Okay. So is it clear, guys? So what is this? There are some questions in the Zoom chat. Did the customer get it back? Did the customer get it back? No. Okay. I think this question is about that, that KVB issue, right? So no, they could not submit the bid on time. So as I told, right? So they could not submit the bid on time and they closed the account. Okay. Close the account and that is a loss forever. That customer will never go to KVB bank again. Right? Because the loss is huge, isn't it? Okay. Anyways, so now this is the difference between functional testing and non-functional testing, right? These are the different types of testing, or this is the overall, testing life cycle. These are the different phases in testing life cycle. So any queries, guys? Now now our area of interest is performance testing. So tomorrow we'll start discussing about performance testing. Okay. Tomorrow I'll start, in detail about performance testing. What are the goals of performance testing? Why should we do performance testing? And what are the different scenarios in which we do performance testing? And what are the different types of performance testing? Okay. So, we understood the SDLC first. We started with SDLC. From that, we took testing life cycle, testing as a pie. A small pie is testing. Again, in the testing life cycle, we are interested in performance testing. Tomorrow, we'll start with performance testing. We'll start detailed discussion about performance testing and in what scenarios we do performance testing. What are the different types of performance testing? There are different types of performance testing, which we'll discuss that tomorrow. Right. So I'll wrap it here for today. So we are on top of the hour. So I'll close it here and we'll discuss that tomorrow. So please don't miss the next 1 week sessions. Right. So, some people pinged me yesterday saying that, they could not pay the fee. That's why, they could not join. So please join. Please don't miss the next 1 week of sessions. Okay. It's okay. If you can pay the fee after 1 week also. But I'm sure if you attend the demo sessions, you will not go anywhere.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, what about the monitoring tools like Dynatrace and all? Are you covering those tools in this course?
We have detailed course contents documents, which I already shared in WhatsApp. Can you please ping me on WhatsApp? I'll share the course contents document to you. So with LoadRunner and JMeter, I am covering some monitoring tools. Whereas, coming to APM tools, I think you are asking about APM tools, right? So coming to APM tools, I will cover integration with those APM tools in this course because we will be focusing mostly on the main tool. For example, if someone join JMeter, we'll be focusing more on JMeter, BlazeMeter, and the combination monitoring tools like InfluxDB, Grafana, and all this. Let me show you quickly the course contents document.
No, sir. Actually, I am asking about the monitoring. How do we monitor the performance results on which application or whatever the things?
I will cover on web applications. Mostly I will cover on web applications, how to monitor, my web applications and all this. So here you can see there are some monitoring tools that are covered here as part of JMeter training. I will cover, Java concept, JVisual VMs, and specific to
Like where we can see the all kind of logs and all,
yes.
and
So
how many
the
results are
training.
passing and failing. that kind of things.
Yes, I'll do one thing. So to clarify your query, I'll show you some previous batch trackers. Okay, which are already done. Okay. Sorry, guys.
Because in the interview they are mainly asking about the how do you monitor the results.
Correct. Yes.
So that's why I'm asking.
Just give me a moment. So I'll show you some of the previous batch trackers. Okay. So that you will get a clear idea about, like how many hours the duration will be. Yeah, here you can see. So this batch went up to 60 hours, and you can see all the concepts are covered here, including monitoring, including server side monitoring. Okay. This is LoadRunner batch, guys. Basically, yeah, web services and API testing is covered. Uh, Database concepts are covered here in this session. Thread versus process, database connection, pool concept, performance issues, and resolution. High level, how to play. So I'll go, from the beginning. So what are the different LoadRunner components? What is the checklist for test execution? Creating a scenario in LoadRunners, smoke test with 30 users, and performance test executions, load test, preparing a report. So when we are preparing a report, we need to analyze the test results and we need to give some observations or recommendations, right? In this report phase. So all these concepts are covered in that reporting phase, and some performance issues are discussed here. For example, database connection pool concept. That is a common issue that you can encounter in any application or any project, right? And some performance issues are explained here, produced here, and fixed there on some applications, that that I am going to cover in the scripting.
Sir, I am asking about like when we execute the test results.
Hmm.
So, from which app or how we can see the how many tests are passing or failing. So that the thing.
I will
And
cover some Java, some monitoring tools for Java applications like Java Melody, where you can monitor active threads, different thread states, right? And all those concepts will be covered. I will cover, like some monitoring tools like Java Melody. Java Melody is a simple tool and very powerful tool. So that is one tool that I cover as part of that monitoring, server side monitoring. And also with JMeter, I will cover some monitoring tools like InfluxDB, Grafana, Telegram. Do you want me to show one Java Melody report? I'll do one thing. So you can see here, this is in September 20, last year, September. We did one execution on an application called Konacart, and I had used a tool called Java Melody, and let me show you one Java Melody report so that you'll get an understanding what details does that monitoring tool provide and all. I should be having some Java Melody report. Okay. Or else let me do one thing. Let me quickly start that show that monitoring tool. I'll do that live on. I'll show you in live, or I'll show you live. Let me just give me a moment.
okay.
Just give me a moment. I'll show you, like what details does that Java Melody show you. Right? It will address all your, queries that you're asking, or all the details that you want to monitor, or all the metrics that you want to monitor on server side. And let me now start the application. I have started my database server. Right? This is my database server. The application is using, MySQL as a database. Now let me start that application. This is a Java application, enterprise Java application. Okay. This is an enterprise application that I cover in the scripting as well as executions. Right? So, and this is, like no other, most of the other training institutes or trainers don't cover this. They cover only web tools and JPEG store. You can check with anyone. But I do cover like 5 different applications in the training. And this is one of the enterprise Java application that I cover in the training. So once the server is started, I'll quickly show you like the Java Melody monitoring tool. So let the server start. Let the server be started. And this is a Java application running on Tomcat application server. We'll discuss what is Tomcat, what is application server, what is web server. All these concepts will be covered in fundamental sessions in the first 10 days. You see here, here I'll explain, what is a web server, what is app server, what is database server, and what are the different, servers in the market, right? That will be covered, once the scripting is completed, I will cover what metrics you need to monitor, right? What are the client side metrics and what are the server side metrics that you need to monitor? Let me show you some server side metrics, important server side metrics, and database performance metrics that will be covered in this, like once the scripting is completed, once we go to test executions, again, I will explain the architecture diagram, and these are the different servers in the market, and these are the important performance counters that we need to monitor, right? From server side. And if you are on the web server, these are the important counters that we need to monitor. If your application is a .NET application, these are the important server side metrics that we need to monitor, right? And on the database side, there are some important counters that we need to monitor on the database side, like full scans, buffer cache hit ratio, index searches, and all these user connections, SQL compilations, recompilations. These three slides are having the important database performance metrics. Now, once the application is not up, still up, what happened? Let the server get started, let the application get started. We'll see a message here saying that server is started at so and so time, in so and so time. Okay. You'll see a message here. Then it confirms that the application is started completely. Okay. It is still in progress. Yes. Yeah. Now we can see here server startup in so and so time. Now you can see that application front end, right? So this is the application front end. It is a e-commerce application like Amazon and Flipkart, right? But this is a demo application. However, it is a enterprise Java application. It will have around like 250 to 300 tables, guys. Okay. You need at least 8 GB RAM to set up this application on minimum 8 GB RAM to set up this application on your machine. 8 GB or 16 GB is desirable because we need to run MySQL database server. We need to run that application server. And now once you start this, I'll execute one test on that application. And let me show you that monitoring tool that I'm talking about. So this is the monitoring tool that this is one of the monitoring tools that I'm going to cover in the training. Let it load.
Okay.
Yes. Now you can see here what all details it is providing. You can see here used memory, percent CPU means CPU utilization, active threads, active JDBC connections, right? HTTP sessions, right? All these details, and you can also see the thread states. Let me show you that quickly. You can generate a heap dump, and you can
So this dashboard is inbuilt or you have created it?
No, I did not create anything. I just used that monitoring tool and I copied. You need to copy 3 jar files, and there is no manual work at all here.
Okay.
And each of my students are familiar with these monitoring tools because I make them set up this application, Java application on their machine, and I make them use this monitoring tool on their machine. Okay. And this is a sample report, or let me show you what all other metrics does it provide. Okay. So to some people, it may be Greek and Latin now. You can see here, these are the different thread states of this application currently. Right?
No.
And this is a lightweight tool, very lightweight tool. You can see that, the disk utilization is only 3 MB. Memory utilization is only 1 MB. Right? It is a lightweight tool, but yet powerful tool, very powerful tool. And also it shows you how much is the heap memory utilization. You can see here. We'll discuss what is meant by heap memory, Java heap memory, and all. We'll discuss that later. Okay, those are required for experienced guys. For freshers, you don't require this monitoring concepts and all. More not required mostly. Okay, if you are good in scripting and execution, that is enough. Performance testing concepts, scripting and executions. That is enough for freshers. Those who want to keep experience, you need to be good on these. Not only executions, you need to be strong on analyzing the test results, monitoring the test, right? And then fixing the issues, fixing the performance issues. So
Also, sir, is it the enough for 3 years of experience?
Definitely enough, more than enough.
Okay.
Okay. And it is also showing you how many threads are busy, how much data is received, right? How many bytes sent and a lot of other details. You see a lot of details over here, right? There
Okay.
is no manual work at all. You need not create any dashboards. Those are inbuilt. Suppose if you want to see a particular graph, click on that graph. If you want to see for a particular date, let's say you executed a test last week. I think when did we execute a test? Let me check that once. Okay. And suppose or else, suppose you executed a test, day before yesterday. If you want to see the test results for that particular day, click on customized and you can. So by default, it will show for the last one day, first of all. By default, it will show the report for the last one day. But if you want to see the report for a particular day, suppose you executed a test day before yesterday, right? So you can give the date and time here, right? 2024 to 22. 04 2022 2024 and click OK and it will show you. Now you can see that you can see the date here. This is from 22 April to for that particular day, 22nd April, right? Of course, maybe I did not execute any test on that day. That is why it is not showing anything. But like I executed some tests recently. Let me try to show one sample report. Or else I should be having some reports also saved on my machine. Let me show that report. Okay. Some sample as a sample report. PDF. Do you see any PDFs here? Um,
So for LoadRunner, any programming language is required or not?
Not required.
Okay.
So you need some C language basics that will be covered in the training.
Okay.
And a basic programming like if loops, for loops, those kind of very basic level knowledge is required, which will be covered in the training.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry guys, I think I have deleted it because all those are getting accumulated my 1 TB of disk is full already. You can see here. So I have 1 TB SSD on my machine, but almost two drives are almost full. That's why I might have deleted the unwanted ones. Let me show you, like I should be having at least one report. 1 second, please. Just give me a moment, okay? Recording, okay. So now I have some sample reports here, which are generated by that, the Java Melody tool, right? You can see some values over here, right? So you can see some values over here, isn't it? 1 second, guys. Let me fix this issue. So no manual work here. No manual work here like Nmon and other monitoring tools. No manual work here. You need to just copy. It is a one-time job. You need to copy some jar files to your application server, and you need to restart the server. Of course, there are some limitations for this. So I'll explain that. How to overcome those limitations, or how can we monitor all the servers. So this tool can be used for monitoring application server, only application server, but most of the performance issues would be at the application server. Okay. Even
Okay.
if there are some database issues also, you will get the logs on the application server. I'll show you how to check the logs and what you need to when you get some performance issues, like how to figure out those issues and all will be discussed in the training, right? But that will be after 1 month. Once you are comfortable with scripting first and executions, then I will cover this monitoring concepts after in the month of May or June, end of May or June. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other queries, guys? Sonam, I still did not receive your WhatsApp ping. Can you please ping
Uh,
me? WhatsApp?
Sir, I have text to you.
Okay.
Direct message.
All right then. So, any other queries, guys, before we close the session? Let me show you the complete report, guys. Okay. Let me show you the complete report. This is, this is a PDF report generated by the tool. So once you complete your test, right? What if you want to create a report? You go to that, go there, go back to that tool and just click on PDF. That's it. Now PDF file
And sir, what will be the
that
course
report will be
duration?
downloaded. Yes.
Sir, what will be the course duration?
Course duration will be like 60 to 80 hours. Okay. For freshers, it will be 60 hours. For experienced guys, it will be 80 hours. I just now told, right? So we experienced guys need those monitoring tools and all,
Yeah.
server monitoring and all. So there will be 20 hours training on that. That additional 20 hours is for server side monitoring and all. Okay. For freshers, it will be 60 hours. 60 hours
Okay.
of training. And if you see any of my batch tracker, so you can check it here. See, this is 60 hours of training. I'll show you one more batch tracker. This is 80 hours. This is for only LoadRunner. That's why we got the duration as 60 hours. This is only for LoadRunner, right? Whereas this is a complete tool, a complete course, like tool plus monitoring and analysis and all those. So it came up to the total duration came up to 80 hours. This is the completed batch, July 2023. Okay. So in the same way, we have a batch tracker for your batch, for this batch also. This is April 2024 batch tracker. Till now, 4.5 hours of training is completed till now, including demo session, of course. So
Okay.
with this, I'll close the session, guys, for today. We are already, we are on top of the hour. I'm closing it, guys.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
If you still have any queries, please ping me or call me.
Okay, sir.
And please save my WhatsApp number, please. Okay, here is my WhatsApp number. Please save my WhatsApp number. And guys, if you have any friends or relatives looking for training and placement, we are also providing placement assistance. So please refer those friends, our relatives or any near and dear. If they are looking to switch from non-IT to IT, or even if they are having career gaps, we will support them for the documents and all those, right? So please refer them and ask them to come for classroom training. So because we can assure 100% placement if they come for classroom training. Is anyone waiting there outside? Can you please see?
Hello,
Yes or no?
it's me, sir.
Anjusha. Okay.
Yeah, I have one query, sir. What is the difference between public network and private network? Like in the last lecture, private network was the one which was within the network. Can you please tell the difference between two?
Public network and private network. I covered public IP and private IP.
Yes,
I
correct.
explained what is
Public
the
IP.
difference between public IP and private IP, right?
Correct. Yes.
Private IP is within your network. See, let's say, what is the private IP? Let me show you. Let me check the IP address of my machine currently. If I type IP config, this is the private IP address of my machine. But this is within my network. Okay. Suppose if I will also have a public IP also. Apart from private IP, I will also have a public IP. Okay. And how to check that? You can go to whatismyip.com, right? Whatismyipaddress.com. There are a lot of websites. ipaddress.com. Okay, it is checking that public IP. Yeah, this is my public IP. Suppose if I buy some product on Amazon now, okay. First, suppose if I buy some Amazon on some product on Amazon from my laptop. So first public IP will be stored there. Amazon will know my public IP, and not only that, it will store my private IP also. That is how if someone commits a fraud, cyber crime, that is how they track. They will track first. They will know first. They will trace out first what is the public IP. In that public IP, again, there may be multiple devices connected to the same network. Some of you are staying in a PG, right? You all use your PG Wi-Fi network, isn't it? So it will have that whole network will have one public IP. First, they will trace out from which location this order was placed. They will come to they will reach your PG Wi-Fi network, and inside that there will be a lot of devices, mobile phones, lot of mobile phones, lot of laptops or desktop connected to that, and again they will trace from which machine that order was placed, right? And how that can be traced with the help of private IP. From that network, that that particular transaction was done from one particular device. They will trace that from which particular device that that transaction was done, right? So that any device connected to the network will have one private IP as well as public IP. So public IP is something which is visible to the external world. Even if you are in office, your laptop and your colleague's laptop, all your teammates' laptops will have different private IP, but the public IP will be same. The public IP address will be same if you are connected to same network. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Sir, do you share
Before
the
we
recording
keep the
as well?
session,
Of
guys,
the
yeah, sorry.
Sir, do you share the recording of the daily classes?
Yes, that is why I asked your Gmail ID. So I'll share all the recorded sessions to your Gmail ID.
Okay.
So before you leave, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, guys, please subscribe and turn on all notifications. We have some new joiners today, right? That's why I'm mentioning, right? So please, also please follow our Insta page. So we are uploading, like daily, we are uploading some, referral openings and, and all those. So please follow our Instagram page. So this is my Insta ID or Insta handle, MGMITtraining. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So for those who are interested, I will share it in the Zoom chat. You can copy that if you want. Okay. So we recently completed 5 years and stepped into 6th year. And we started classroom training in Hyderabad in this 6th year. Okay. Our next plans are to start in Vijayawada next by 2025, of course, and then Vizag, and then by 2026, Bangalore.
Sir, what about Delhi?
I wish I can open there also, open an institute there also, but we'll be majorly focusing on South India.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah, that is a big target actually, covering entire South India.
Mhm.
Right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Thanks for
Sir, when you get free, then please ping me. I have to discuss some things with you.
sure.
Okay.
You can call me.
Thank you, sir.
So once I close this session, you can call me.
Okay, okay, fine, sir. Thank you.
All right, guys. See you tomorrow.